to Leaders Having Lunch. I am your host, Jeff Conroy. This is the show that talks about leadership and interviews leaders and gets down to the nitty-gritty of what it takes to be a good leader. In this show, I'm going to talk a little bit about me and why I want to do a show on leadership. So I'm going to start with my background, and my background includes working and overseeing organizations of all sizes. I've worked in nonprofits that are me and a half-time staff. I've worked in nonprofits that have a staff of 27 and a staff of 100. So I have a pretty broad understanding of organizations and the dynamics of them. But my career started in 1990 working for the Boy Scouts of America in Portland, Oregon. The Boy Scouts taught me a lot. They taught me how to develop committees, how to recruit volunteers. They taught me fundraising campaigns, how to develop a fundraising campaign, how to create a goal, how to do endowments, how to create a capital campaign and feasibility studies. They taught me structure and organization. How do I develop a structure? How do I develop top-down committees and groups, and how to recruit them? It taught me how to put on an event, how to plan an event, how to budget for an event, how to recruit for an event, how to market an event, how to promote the event, and how to put on programs, how to put on snow cave events and camporees. Taught me budgeting. It taught me how to develop a budget, how to create budgets, how to manage a budget, how to work with a budget on a monthly and daily basis. It taught me product sales. I've sold popcorn. I've sold Christmas trees. I've sold candy bars, Christmas cards, coffee mugs. It taught me marketing. It taught me that marketing people speak a marketing language. It taught me to surround myself with people who are experts in their field. Like I said, it taught me volunteer recruitment. It taught me board development, how to recruit a board, how to organize a board, how to run a board meeting, how to develop committees, and how to run committee meetings. It taught me training, and it taught me how to team build. In 1995, I was promoted to the program director in North Idaho, where I got to put on events. I oversaw advancement. I oversaw 3 Boy Scout camps and 27 day camps. I oversaw the product sales. I sold a lot of candy bars and popcorn. And in 1997, I was promoted to Chief Operating Officer, where I got to oversee a staff of 27. It was a great time for me, but it was also an eye-opening time for me because I learned that leadership from my upbringing. I would watch others lead, and it was the boss, and everybody followed the boss. Well, I learned that leading people that way and nobody is following you, then the leader is on a long, lonely journey. So there began my leadership journey. I wanted to learn how to be a better leader. I was reading Stephen Covey and Zig Ziglar and John Maxwell and those types of books. And in 2003, I left the Boy Scouts and became the director of the United Way, local United Way here in North Idaho. United Way took me totally out of my comfort zone. All I'd ever known was Boy Scouts for 13 years. And when I left to become the director of the United Way, I had to conquer my greatest fear, which was public speaking. By doing over 300 presentations a year, I honed in on my public speaking skills. I had to organize a huge fundraising campaign for the United Way campaign. I had a board that I had to develop and train and recruit for. It taught me promoting the United Way within the community. I was taking check passing pictures with my friend Jerome Paulus almost daily. He and I would go and I put him in my car and we'd go get pictures taken every day of check passing some organizations. And I was known as the United Way guy. And then I also got to put on some events. In 2006, I left the nonprofit world and became an administrative director for a local organization. It's a school for kids who are dealing with mental disabilities. And what the United Way taught me, I'm sorry, what the therapeutic school taught me was that people with mental illness are not scary people. They're just dealing with some pretty heavy life issues. And it made me very compassionate towards that. And then in 2008, I became the director of St. Vincent de Paul, which culminated all three of my past job experiences with the Boy Scouts, United Way, and this therapeutic school to teach me that I was using the administrative background that I got with the Boy Scouts and the community awareness and networking of United Way and this therapeutic school that taught me that people with mental disabilities are not scary, and worked for St. Vincent de Paul for 11 years using those skills. The Boy Scouts, or the United Way, I'm sorry, St. Vincent de Paul taught me how to work with the staff, how to work with grants more, how to build new construction, and providing quality, exceptional customer service. It was really an extraordinary time. And then in 2019, I left and started Conroy Leadership Consulting. So why the podcast? People say, why are you doing a podcast? Well, my podcast, I'd like to start with sharing with you that I have three beliefs when it comes to leadership. One, those people that have been in the nonprofit world or in the business world for an extended amount of time have knowledge and experience that those people beginning don't have. They know the secrets. They know where the skeletons are. So it is a duty to share that with that community. The second one is there is no such thing as a natural born leader. At least I don't believe there's anything as a natural born leader. I think people are born with charisma. I think people are born with a charismatic way about them that people are excited to follow. But I think actual leadership skills are taught through experience, through sharing, through mentoring. But leadership skills are taught. And I also believe the third one is I believe that we should be mentoring those that we work with, making them better. And the experience I have in that is putting on a large event, 2.5-day event for Lee Cockrell that for 2.5 days that brought in close to 1,500 people. And that whole committee was made up of 6 people, which proved to me that a motivated, focused, empowered group of people can move mountains. So that's why I started doing this podcast, is because I want to share leadership with others, and I want to share leadership secrets and the secrets of others through this show. So this show is the culmination of a program that I used to do at St. Vinny's called the Leaders Lunch. And that started about 4 years ago when a gentleman by the name of Bill Rutabanko, who owns a company here in the Coeur d'Alene area, invited me in to speak with his management team about leadership and my leadership philosophy. And after speaking with that team, and this is a team that has their own culture, their own acronyms, their own way of doing things, and to bring an outside executive in to talk about their leadership ideas, I thought was extraordinary. So extraordinary that I wanted to do that with my own team. So I started a program called Leaders Lunch, and I invited outside leaders to come in and talk with my staff. And they could speak during lunch hour, and staff would bring their lunch, and these leaders would come and talk about what's their background that put them in the position they're in now, what's their educational background, what experiences have they had, what do they like to read, who are their mentors, what motivates them, what's their favorite quote. It wasn't meant to change the team as leaders, but to walk away with nuggets, because there might be someone within the audience that aspires to be something greater than where they are now, and to see someone else and what they've had to do to get to that point might inspire them. So I was excited to do that. So that's why I started doing this podcast, is I really wanted this podcast to be the combination of sharing my experiences and giving you some personal tips that I've learned along the way, and bring in some exceptional leaders to share their backgrounds and to share their journey in leadership. So, as we move forward in the coming episodes, you will see both combinations of little nuggets of ideas from me, and hopefully some bigger nuggets of wisdom and leadership help from them. So, we move forward. I look forward to talking to you more in the future. And if you have any questions or have any ideas, please feel free to email me at jeff@conroyleadershipconsulting.com. Until next time, remember, leadership does begin with a relationship.